Howdy, everyone. I'm back in Texas. Um, Kind of a bittersweet time in my life. I just kind of want to share with y'all a little bit about where I'm at emotionally and mentally, um, so that if I do see you in person, you can kind of know where I'm at and know how to go about the conversation. Um, it's been okay. Everything has been smooth. It's just been a lot of emotions and a lot of prayer and asking God to show me why, asking God to give me peace about everything. So I was in Bangkok, Thailand for I think 6 weeks. I did spend 1 week with like travel and being in the Philippines um, for mentoring and just getting us prepared for the mission field. And then so roughly six weeks in Thailand, and it was a great 6 weeks. It was awesome. I mean, God moved. God grew my faith. He grew my understanding of missions. Um, I think that I've understand a little bit more about where He wants me in missions. I'm still not 100%, but it was a great 2 months. I met some really awesome people. I got to see an old friend who lives in Bangkok. She was my foreign exchange student, and um, she was with me my sophomore year of high school. So it was just really cool getting to see her, and I'm glad I got to do that, before I had to come home. But yeah, I just want to share a little bit with y'all about the process and what happened. So it was actually a few days before we found out we had to come home. My parents called me and were like, "We think you need to contact the IMB and get out as fast as you can. Things are just heating up." And I told them, like, there's really no point. I'm very safe in Bangkok, in Thailand. I'm very cared for if I need it, but we really do not think that I am going to need it. Everything is perfectly fine. So they talked to my supervisor and they reassured my parents, and they're very thankful for that. And everything was good at that moment. It was like, okay, I'm staying here for the next 6 months. This is happening. Like, everything is fine. Well, maybe 3 or 4 days later, the U.S. came out and said, hey, if you are not living um, in other countries outside of the U.S., if you're not living outside the U.S., you need to come home if you're in another country. And so the IMB contacted my supervisors and were like, look, we need to get Natalie and Amanda out of there right now. There are just things are heating up. And so that's what happened. And when Cheryl told me, uh, she kind of conversated with me and said, this is a possibility. So I just want you to be aware. And I was like, okay, okay. And in my head, I was like, this isn't going to happen. No, we're going to be able to stay here. And then I was like, but do I want to go home because it is heating up? And so I was very conflicted in my emotions, and just trying to figure out what to do was just very, very conflicted. And then maybe an hour or two later, she said, we are sending you home. And I almost started crying, but I held it together and I was just like, Lord, why is this happening? Please give me peace. I was very sad, very upset, but also in a sense that there's no more going back and forth. Am I going home? Am I going home? Am I staying here? And so it was nice to just have a final answer, but I don't think that's the answer I wanted. So it was a little bit of a struggle. And then the next day, it was us saying goodbye and stuff. It was our last full day in Thailand, and that day, everything in Thailand had pretty much be shut down. They requested that everyone stay at home for the next little bit, and so it was kind of like, okay, I think it's a good idea we are leaving, just because things started heating up very fast. And it was crazy because it was things were changing by the hour. It was very, very much Lord, it's in your control because I don't even know what's coming next. Like, I can't even see an hour into like what's gonna happen in my life. So it was a lot of going back and forth. So it was nice to just have a final answer, and we contacted the travel agent. He got us our ticket, and we were flying out on Sunday morning, and so Natalie and I flew out of Bangkok to Taiwan, from Taiwan to Hawaii, which that was really nice, and then Hawaii to Texas for me, and then Natalie was able to get home to Iowa not long after that. But the day of just saying goodbye was very sad. I definitely knew that I may not ever see these people again, but if it's the Lord's will, I will. But it was just very hard to come to terms with that. And really, what got me down the most was knowing that the full 6 months of my trip are not going to be fulfilled. I mean, 2 months versus 6, very big difference. I am beyond grateful for the time I had. I'm beyond grateful for the experiences I had, the people I met, the way I saw God's hand moving in a place where people don't even know the name of God. Absolutely amazing. But I had just prepared my heart for a full 6 months, and having that kind of just ripped out of my hands in a day really threw me off, because I prepared very hard mentally. For 2 months, I was at home pretty much by myself, so I just every day was going over, okay, Amanda, you can do this for 6 months, and training myself, getting myself ready, praying, being in the Word, um, being involved at my home church at Lake Fork, and so it was very hard, and I think it would be a while before I fully transition from that idea. And I'm praying, I'm asking God, Lord, why am I here? Why am I back? What is your purpose for this? And this morning I just cried out to Him, and I believe that He has answered that. I do believe there's a ministry to be done here, and I think that I am more bold in my faith, that I won't hold back as much, because I can speak the language here in Thailand. I couldn't tell anybody about Jesus unless they knew English. So I felt very burdened with that. So I just tried to serve in other ways. But now that I'm back home, I can tell anybody I wanted to about Jesus. It's just I have to choose that, and I don't. So I think that that is going to be where He's working on my heart in these days to come, after my quarantine, because I wanted to be um, respectful to others, because I am coming from Thailand, which, it wasn't, the virus wasn't bad there, but we are advised we need to probably take a quarantine just to be respectful and just in case. So I am on a 2-week quarantine, and I want to say thank you to my friend Hallie and her family for just being willing to put me up in one of their little hunting cabins in the middle of nowhere, so I can't get anybody sick if I am sick. But they've been so gracious and so good to me, and so I want to thank them for that, and I want to thank everyone for praying for me, and please continue to pray for the ministry in Thailand. There is still work to be done, and pray for the Lord's will on my life. I do not know if that's where I need to go back. I loved it there. It was great, but I'm still praying about that, and still trying to figure out what the Lord wants for me. So thank you guys so much, and I'm gonna post another video about the last 3 weeks that I experienced in Thailand, and just kind of recap all of the things that I went through and great things I got to do. So be ready for that. Thank you for everything, and maybe I'll see some of you soon. Bye.